Hey guys, welcome to this video. I am doing my updated brow routine for you guys, but I'm not just showing you one way to do your brows, I'm showing you 3 ways. Because I don't know, this year I've really found the love for brows again. I feel like brows can get really repetitive, so I've learned to really switch up my products and my techniques and the look of my brows. I think it's so cool to kind of cater it towards your mood, towards the eye look you're doing. So I'm going to show you 3 different brow looks, from more of a natural, easy brow to more of a full brow like what I'm wearing right now. So keep watching if you want to see how I get my brows. So let's start off with the more natural brow. This is quite like a standard normal way to fill in the brows, but maybe you haven't seen this before, so I want to show you, and I just want to share with you guys my technique. I always have one of these kind of spoolies. They're the best because they're so fluffy, so I just get a pack off Amazon. I actually stole this one for my makeup kit. So I always bendle my spoolies. You'll notice it with this one, and then you'll notice it with the regular spoolies. I just find it hits that angle really nice. You can put it against. I always have to brush up my brows to just see their full potential. That's how I kind of train my brows. Train them all to go upwards. I know there's like all the brow laminations, but honestly, I have great products. I don't need to laminate my brows, and laminating your brows are quite drying to your brows. So I prefer to have very soft hairs and not coarse hairs. So I just brush that through, and I find these big spoolies are really nice. You can see the difference that made already. So I'm using currently the MAC brow styler, and I use the shade Stylized. Typically I would probably say, like, looking at someone with hair like me, I would use Spiked instead from MAC, which is much more of a blacky brown, but I just really like soft colors on my brow. I prefer them more like taupey gray color because I just have dark hairs already, so I like adding almost like a shadow to my brows so it's like not noticeable strokes. That's just my preference. Basically what I'm trying to do with the pencil is just filling in the gaps. Often I don't have a lot of hair that grows underneath, but I really like to get that straight line. So I'll just start here where I have a little bit empty. You can see I'm imitating brow strokes. Leave those little hairs growing if you want a fuller brow look. That will just help with when you fill it in. And you can already see the difference, and it's giving me that more like straight brow look there. So I'm gonna worry about the tail later. Then I'm going to connect it downwards here, because you can see I have a lot of hair that grows in that area. Really cater it to your brows, but oftentimes a lot of people have stronger hair growth here in the front, less in the front here, and then a lot underneath is missing. Very common in brows. Generally, this is what you'll have to do. And these tight Q-tips are awesome for like any makeup mishaps, but if I go a little too over, I just try to take a Q-tip. These are very like tight ones from Muji. Love them. I keep my hand on the back of the brush really close to the spoolie actually, because I really want a light hand. And it's almost like just going like that movement. Up and down. And just brush it through just to soften any edges to make sure it doesn't look like anything. Now that I kind of got the shape of my brow, just doing the tail, and I literally just pulled product there. And now it's the top part. I have less hair growing up here. All my hair is the strongest in the center. So I like to build a little bit more of an arch and a corner to my brow. So now I'm going downwards because that's the way my hair is growing. And then I usually just do a straight line down here just because I need a little bit more shape there. And I'm not worrying so much about filling in the inner part. I don't really need to. And then honestly with my next product, it's gonna all like go together. Right here, I have a little bit of a dip in my brow, so like that, same thing, and just blend it out. Being very light because you don't want to remove your hair. We're trying to get more hair, not remove it. This here is my favorite brow product. This has changed the game for me. If you have not tried a tinted Fibre brow gel before, you need to get your hands on it. It gives you the most fullest, trendiest brow. My tinted brow gel of choice is the MAC Big Boost Fibre Gel in Stylized. I love it because it cuts the job in half. Like I said, I didn't have to fill in the center right here, but it's gonna look like I did with this. The reason why these are such a must is because you can see that I filled it in right now. Once I go in with this is gonna give me volume to my actual hairs and like fill in hairs, if that makes sense. So you wanna be very light-handed with this product. You don't wanna press up against your brow. You wanna like think about a feathered brow, think very light-handed, and sweep it through gently, hovering it through your brows. So you just want to get the hairs. So I'm starting here because that's where I'm a little bit stronger, and then I'm lightly bringing it through. And I can press a little bit firmer in the center because I didn't fill in there. And then when I don't have as much product, I'm going to the front of my brow. And then I usually just take a Q-tip where my tail is and then just go whoop, just to make sure there's not too much product. It just looks really full. My hair's all brushed up in place. It looks defined, but it looks super natural. It looks soft. Hopefully you can really see the difference in the brows. Oh, you bet I do. You can just see how everything's lifted. I really like my hairs to stand a little over where I filled in. That's really important to me, so I don't like trim my brow hairs too short, because that's going to even like cover the fact that you filled it in more. So again, it's just a good fail safe when I don't really know what to do with my brows and I just want something fast but looks really full and defined. This is the one. Alright, so the next brow is probably my personal favorite brow. I love just a really good feathered soap brow. You can see your skin through your brows a little bit more. It's very defined. I literally just use soap for my brows. There are some awesome products. There's the actual soap brow brand. There's also like, I think, who was it? Patrick Taupe came out with one that looks really like aesthetic. But this one, you get the most, you'll never run out, and it's so cheap, so I don't know. This is Pears Soap. You can use any soap that is transparent. I take like Fix Plus setting spray, or I'm using the Makeup Forever one today. Any kind of setting spray. And just mist that to the top of my little soap dish. Same fluffy spoolie that I like to use. You can use the back of like a brush too. And I just literally mix it in like that. And then I just kind of take it on the side so I don't have too much product. I don't like to put too much water in it, and I like to work it in because I want a lot of that soap more than like the liquid part of the soap. And then I let it sit for a few seconds on here because I don't want it to be super runny. This is the first step this time. Essentially with this one, you want to like glue down your brow hairs in place. And upwards is the best. Brushing it through it instantly is just going to define and lift it. You're going to get that real feathered look right away. I'm just going to take a spoolie with no product in it. I don't like those brow hairs to be too upwards. I don't always do this, but it does help it if you want it to stick against your brow. Just press it down a bit, just so they really stay in place. I don't press the top part because I like it to stand a little bit. It gives me more volume, makes my brow look more feathered in my opinion. So I'm just pressing down the roots of my brow like that. This gives you the laminated feathered brow look. This is my favorite brow product. I said the Big Boost Fibre Gel was, but I think this is my favorite. I can't live without this. This is the MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint. This is in Taupe. I know that sounds like the totally wrong shade for me. I use this for the purpose of drawing hairs. I don't want dark hairs. I want a light shadow again. I don't want to see the drawn on strokes so harshly. So I use this one right here. It has a brush tip. The ink runs through it. It's waterproof. It's going to stay in place all day. The other end I don't really use much, but it has like a shadow. We'll get to that later. You can just shake it. I always store it upside down so the ink travels to the tip. So again, holding it quite far back, not as far back as the other one. Usually I hold like midway. Light-handed, we're going in the down direction. We're going to draw those hairs upwards. I'm literally going to go in and flick it. I don't know how else to describe this than I literally just flick the brow product up very light-handed. Instead of going against like this though, I use the tip more. So I'm like, you know, like that motion. And wherever I see my skin through, I just kind of fill it in, making sure I'm not doing too many beside each other. And I'm really pulling it in the direction of the actual brow hairs. So I'm going up this way. As my brow tapers off, it goes a little bit more to the side like this. Now we're going upwards more like that. And I usually just rest my hand against my chin. It helps stabilize. Oftentimes I'll just go like right here and just fill in a little bit. And you can see I'm kind of going in my brow too because this is a clear brow soap, so you're going to see everything through my brows. That's the biggest thing when you're doing any makeup things in general. Always have a close-up mirror, but then always take a look back and step back, look at your brow, how it looks. Because no one's actually this close up to your face. They're all going to be farther away. I love how you can see through your brows in this one. It's a little bit lighter and airier, but so defined and so pulled back. It really gives you that like facelift effect, I find, because it's just so lifted. Like, can you see the difference in my brows? It's crazy. Whenever I use this pen, I get a lot of people asking me if I have microblading too, which is like the greatest compliment. Okay, so remove my brow for the last time, thank goodness. I'm going to share with you guys my last brow look. This is the most bold brow look. So to do this brow now, I will use one or the other product depending on what I'm feeling. I will either use the brow styler that I used in the beginning, which is a pencil, or I'll use the powder that comes on the other side. Today I'm going to use the powder just so I can show you how to use the other side. Basically with this product, the powder is in the container. I always find this such a strange kind of way. And then you have the powder on the other end. It's a little bit messy. It's a weird application, so I'm going to show you how I use this. So if you buy this, you're like, okay, I don't want to buy this and just use one side. I'm going to show you how to use the other side. This is how I use this up. Do I use this all the time? No, sometimes I'll just use my brow styler, but I want to show you guys. In my arch right here, I'm just going to go ahead and drag this one along. It's a powder, so you'll be easily able to like blend it. My brows are a little bit stiff because I feel like they do have a little bit of soap left in them, but we're gonna roll with it. I almost like drag it along here now to the top. I'm just blending the powder, diffusing it. Literally giving that shadow beneath the brows. Just taking it upwards like so. It looks messy, but trust me, the spoolie is gonna help in this case. It's a powder, so it's super easy to just blend out. So going back in with the big brow boost, we're gonna brush that through my brows. It's gonna cut everything in half and how much we have to fill in. We're gonna go in now with the brush tip again with the brow ink, and we're gonna draw the bottom area like we did before, but this time we already got a lot of base, so you're not gonna see as much through your brow. Taking the side of it, still in that same motion, but taking a little more side so I can get a little bit more of a bolder stroke. Same shade though. The heavier the hand, the more pressure you're gonna get, the more product's gonna deposit, and also the bigger your strokes are gonna be. And then usually I just gonna draw my tail with this. Still, when I go to the front of my brow, I'm doing that same front motion and we're just using the tip. Again, I'm just putting more pressure. Really good in there, and then I just kind of go through my whole brow. Go a little bit up here as well. You still want to see brow strokes and still look like hair on the brow, but you don't want it to be as separated. You don't want to see the skin through as much. All right, then I just finished this brow off with some clear brow gel. This is the Anastasia brow gel. I just use any clear brow gel, nothing in particular. This lasts forever. And I just go in with my arch right there just to make sure that area doesn't fall down. All right, so that is my brows done. It's pretty well consistent in the amount of like depth and darkness throughout my whole brow. It's just a tiny bit softer in the front, but ever so slightly. So this is my last and final brow, but you can see it is much darker, a little bit more of a statement. I did still use softer colors, so it's softer than my natural hair. That's just what I prefer with my brows. It's not necessarily what I pair this brow look with, but more so just my mood. When I just want a bolder brow, this is what I go for. When I really want to take the time and the steps for doing a few more things on my brows, this is what I go for. All these brow looks are very similar. I just feel like they're the level ups, and then they're different products that I feel like using, because I really have to switch up the way I do my brows and the products I use, or else I get tired of them, because it's otherwise you're kind of doing the same thing. All right, so those are all my brow looks for you guys. My 3 favorite ways to fill in my brows, from natural to glam, I'm gonna say. I hope you guys learned something today, whether you learned some new techniques or just want to try some new brow products. That'd be awesome if you could also subscribe so you can stay tuned for my videos and support my channel. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The link's in the bio. All the products that I used in today's video will also be linked in the bio if you want to go check them out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye! Those brown eyes in the sun make me weak. I still get butterflies every time we speak. In my head, 'cause